Let it all work out. Let it all work out. Let it all work out. Let it all work out.
Let's get straight into it. Arsenal versus Tottenham at the Arsenal Stadium. Let it all work out, Derby. Let's go. I'll be remiss if I didn't say these referees and their technical problems was a terrible look for the Premier League. I don't want to speak too much on it, but have to highlight the amount of time wasted by the referees because of their technical difficulties. It was embarrassing for everyone involved. Starting with David Raya in goal. In the first half, didn't really have much to do. Yeah, we conceded that goal. That was definitely a self-induced error. But Raya didn't have much to do until he did. And when he did, he came clutch for us. Like that ball on the line, saving that ball, because that would have made it, 3-2 at the time, and that would have made us extremely nervous going into the last couple of minutes. But shout out to David Raya for that. Incredible save. Jurrien Timber, not one of his best games, to say the least, but I do think he's packed on a load of minutes. He didn't really do anything wrong today, but I won't say he did like much right either. It was just a normal day at the office for Jurrien Timber. Nothing great, nothing bad. William Saliba, I think we are at that point where we've rated someone so highly and they've been so consistent for so long that we don't speak about them anymore. And I just want people to know what William Saliba does week in, week out is not normal. He is one of the top 3 defenders in the world for sure. I can give Gabriel this season because obviously the important goals, but as a centre back and defending your goal, I don't think there are many people in the world better than William Saliba. I think he's definitely one of the best in the world and he makes it look so easy. Gabriel, what can I say about Gabriel? He's a warrior. He embodies the spirit of Arsenal. He knows exactly what to do to wind up opposition fans. I have nothing but love in my heart for Gabriel. Only thing I'll say is that second goal that was chalked off by Kolo Muani, rightfully chalked off because it was definitely a foul. Only thing I'd say about that is that it's a bit soft and we have been punished for that in the past before with Voltemade's goal for Newcastle this same season. So what I would say is it's definitely a foul. I thought both were fouls, but when the referee doesn't give it, if my team was the team that scored it, I wouldn't be complaining. So I'd prefer if Gabriel didn't put those kind of decisions in the hands of the ref, but yesterday we got away with it. Happy days. Piero Hincapié. I've spoken about this brother before. I've told you that his profile is extremely unique. First of all, his ability on the ball to pick out a pass or cross because he has great technique. A lot of people on our team do not have that. I don't think anyone on our team has the type of technique he does when it comes to crossing or threading in those passes. Maybe an Odegaard, but definitely no one in our back line. The only person closest, maybe Ben White, but we haven't even seen him this season enough to say that. But I can't speak highly enough of Pierre Nkapia. He's showing everybody why he was an invincible. Yeah, I know you don't want to hear it, but he wasn't invincible where he's coming from. This is not a screw-up. This is a bona fide warrior. I can't use much more words to use other than warrior, but his technique, his quality on the ball, like on another day, he has 2 assists because that Saka chance that he missed was a great pass from him, Pierre Nkapia, that I don't think we make nearly enough as a team. Maybe because we don't have people that can, but Nkapia definitely can. The second was Gyökeres' chance. I think it was like in the 7th minute or so, like Gyökeres' first early chance. Nkapia was stepping into the midfield, into central positions and threading passes as well. So, like I said in the previous video, Calafiori, I don't know if you get your position back because you can't stay fit enough to hold on to position. Nkapia can right now, and bringing him in is looking like a masterstroke from Andrea Berta. Martin Zubimendi didn't really put a foot wrong yesterday. Just like Timber, just kind of went on with the game, made the passes he was meant to make, was brave when he was supposed to. I wouldn't say it was his best game either. I think he just kept things ticking. It was a normal 7 out of 10 game for him. Yeah, can't complain. He wasn't asked to do more than he was required to do. broke up play when he was meant to, won his duels when he was meant to. No complaints. Declan Rice, Okay, I do think it's odd that Declan Rice chose this game to probably have his worst game of the season. But what I would say is that for Declan Rice, it was a game of two halves. His first half wasn't great. Like, he made that mistake, an uncharacteristic mistake from Declan Rice, because don't know why he's trying to la croqueta when that is not really his game. But how he responded to it is exactly how I want my player to respond to mistakes made on the field. Honestly, Declan Rice is captain, leader personified. He is literally what I would show all my nieces and nephews who they should aspire to be growing up. Because when things go bad, it's not about dwelling on how bad your mistake was. It's about how you respond to it. And he responded brilliantly. That's what leaders do. Bukayo Saka. They can't deal with you, bro. No one can deal with you. I keep on telling you. Yeah, they might have not given you your rightfully deserved assist. As far as I'm concerned, I'm counting that as an assist in my mind. But fair enough, they don't want to give you. It is what it is. Rules are rules. But these are for people who see football the way I see it, and not through the prism of goals and assists. Bukayo Saka was our most dangerous player yesterday, and I didn't get a goal or an assist. Didn't complete the game, but he was our most dangerous player because everything was coming through him. They could not handle him. Everything was happening yesterday. Everything attacking-wise came through him. They could not deal with him. Jude Spence, yeah.
Hey, Jude Spence, Achi, come forward, Achi. Let me flip the screen, Achi.
Jude freaking Spence thought he could deal with him. Jude Spence was trying to get rah-rah with him. Saka said, okay, no problem. But and continued to give him the business. Throughout the whole game, they could not hold him. All they were doing was fouling and crying every time they fouled him, between him and Xavi Simons. Honestly, Ramadan could have come at a better time for Jude, because he needs to look within and do some cleansing. Okay, what I would say about Bukayo Saka is I would obviously like to see more goals and assists from him, although that's not the only prism I see football through, but I do think he's capable of scoring more goals and having more assists. For the third goal yesterday, I definitely think he should have scored it. I definitely think the defender shouldn't have caught up with him before it fell to Eberechi. But what I would say is that he has been injured this season and last season, which has kind of stunted his growth and allowed him not to grow his game in the parts that he's meant to be growing in. Hopefully, he can just get a run of games going without injury. And I know Bukayo Saka will just get better and start finishing chances, and things will just start coming back naturally to him because he's just that type of player. Leandro Trossard, forgettable game for him. Well, not forgettable in terms of result, but in terms of his performance, quite forgettable. He didn't really get much joy in anything he was doing. I don't think the game plan was perfectly suited to his style of game. But then again, I definitely have in my head of Martinelli starting right now. Didn't really do anything wrong, didn't really do anything right. Another Jurriën Timber type performance. Yeah, I do think maybe he needs to be dropped, just because Leandro Trossard is the type of person that when he gets dropped, he gets angry, and when he gets angry, he starts firing goals. So who knows, that could be to our benefit. But I'm not replacing him with Martinelli, I'll tell you that. Eberechi Eze. Let it all work out. What a performance.
I hate y'all. I do anything to replace y'all.
He just hates y'all. I'm sorry, Spurs. He hates y'all. Anytime you see Eberechi coming across the street, that guy hates you guys. He called Arteta because he didn't want to be there. The first time he did a hat-trick against y'all. Second time, 2 goals. Arteta took him off because he didn't want to give him another hat-trick. But what can I say about Eberechi? What a fantastic performance yesterday. He is literally the X factor in the final third we've been asking for to play alongside Saka. I think everyone is starting to understand Eberechi's game and what is required of him. I think Arteta even said it after the game that Eberechi was angry with him for not playing him, for not starting him against Wolves. But he's starting to understand what he needs to do to get the best out of Eze. And I think also Eze too is starting to understand what Arteta wants from him. And I just think it's somewhere in the middle. If Arteta can understand how to play Eze and get his strengths, and Eze can understand how important defensive work off the ball is to Arteta, I just think we get one of the best players in the Premier League, like a top 5 player in the Premier League, if they can find a balance for each other. Because I definitely think Eberechi Eze is a massive part going forward in the seasons to come in how great Arsenal could become. Victor Gyökeres, my days, what a finish for the first goal. Shout out to Eberechi, because that dummy sold his first goal. And it was an important goal because it was right after the back of conceding the way we conceded in the first half, and coming out into the second half showing a completely different type of game, a different type of fight. And I don't know, for Arsenal fans who watch Arsenal training videos every week, we see Gyökeres constantly winning these finishing drills, and we're just waiting to see him bring it to the pitch for an actual Premier League game. And he did it against Tottenham, and kudos to him. He deserves all the praise. I was super critical of him for his performance against Wolves. I thought people were finding it hard to create chances for him. I also thought he was a second ahead of everyone. I think now, especially in the game against Tottenham, I can see people are starting to be more on the same wavelength as Gyökeres, giving it to him early and whatnot. Hopefully it continues. I'm not going to get too carried away, because there's still aspects of his games that are still like shaky. Especially that second goal. It was a good second goal, but if I'm not lying, if that was a Murillo instead of an Archie Gray on his side, would he have scored? I hope so, but I personally doubt it. But like, then again, I'm 1000% happy to be wrong about Gyökeres. I would love him to continue proving me wrong and finally get me on side to become a fan that backs him in any argument. But for now, I'll just temper my expectations of him. But what I would say is that yesterday was his best performance in an Arsenal jersey. Like, no notes. He held up the ball when he was meant to hold up the ball. He linked up when he was meant to link up. He scored when he was meant to score. There's nothing he did wrong. He was the man of the match yesterday, bona fide. And big up to him for choosing such a game to have his best performance. I hope he literally kicks on from there on out. Mosquera. Yesterday I was watching, or not yesterday, 2 days ago, I was obviously watching the Newcastle Man City game, and there was a moment in the game that Pep Guardiola took off Ruben Diaz, who was on the yellow card, after he had pretty much had been paced by Anthony Gordon, and he had to bring him down. And he brought on Kusanov to deal with the pace. And I thought that was just a brilliant stroke of managing and coaching from Pep Guardiola. And I have to say the same for Arteta today with Mosquera. So the other subs, I'll say Martinelli, Odegaard, and Madueke didn't really put a foot wrong. They all combined to get Gyökeres his 4th goal. It was a nice combination between the 3 of them, to be honest. Odegaard got the assist and Gyökeres put it away. Kudos to the guys that came on. They were ready. There wasn't a drop off when they came on, so I can't really say anything bad about that. Mikel Arteta, great coaching today. I think the team he picked was spot on. I think the way we were set up was spot on. I think he made sure to let them know how aggressive to be in early. Like, I think Saliba was definitely on the edge of Tottenham's box for a lot of times in this match. So we were super aggressive with how we took this match. But then again, it's a North London derby. And the manager should be having to tell anybody to get up for this type of game. But we were set up beautifully. And like I said previously, that Mosquera sub, I think that was brilliant coaching. I think he's learning. From his mistakes. I think he's learning how to get the best of Gyökeres, how to get the best of Eze. I mean, you need to understand these players came in the summer, so we're still figuring this out. I'm figuring this out, trying to win a title in the same way, on the same season. So, I mean, that's not an excuse. I think Pep has done that before. Great managers do that, and I think Arteta is well, on his way to proving he might be one of the greats. So kudos to Arteta and all the staff involved for this massive win in Arsenal Stadium.